What is up, Carmination? Welcome into, I guess, another edition of NBA Live, but this time it's right before lock for April 15th. It's a Thursday, small four-game slate for NBA. We have MLB starting basically as we speak. I'm your host, Bales, here with Joey. We are just kind of going to go over the slate a little bit after all the news has dropped and, take a look at lineups and everything. So, Joey, how are you doing tonight? Yeah, I feel like it's actually four solid games. Like Golden State, Cleveland, not really interested in. But even Milwaukee, Atlanta, I don't think is that bad. Just a quick run down some injury news. Dante DiVincenzo out. Giannis is in. Someone said, Joey, they believe you're muted.
Yeah, I just
Muted.
realized I was muted. I
All right,
unmuted you,
Joey
but now
just realized he's muted. Essentially, what he said is that he's going to watch the 10 p.m. games on TV, and he's going to skip the 7:38 game. But continuing the injury news, Chris Dunn out tonight. Danilo Gallinari out tonight. Then you obviously still have DeAndre Hunter and John Collins hurt. Trae Young is in. Kelly Oubre and Eric Paschall are still going to miss some time. Dylan Windler and Damian Dotson for Cleveland have both been ruled out. Colin Sexton in. You have the bigs for Sacramento out, which gives Whiteside a bump, which is Rashawn Holmes and Marvin Bagley. They're both out for at least a couple more games. Fournier out again. Robert Williams was just ruled out. Dennis Schroeder's in. Markieff Morris, I think, is the only other person that needs to be mentioned, and he's still questionable tonight. So a lot of injury news, but we basically got all of it, and it's not really anything too crazy because there's only four games. So we can just kind of start with and who are some must plays that you think are going in your lineup tonight, Joe?
so I want to touch on. You said you like Whiteside with everyone out. That's kind of a tough situation for me starting out because it looks like Damian Jones started last game. I'm not sure who they're gonna end up starting. Out of the three bigs for Sacramento, it looked like Metu only played 6 minutes and Whiteside got the most minutes. But they're all in two big stretches. That's probably a big decision because if Whiteside ends up starting, he's definitely a must play at only 3,400. He's probably still a good play if he doesn't get the start, especially with all those minutes he's getting. But that's kind of one of my decisions I'm still making coming into lock. I'm probably gonna end up fading. I'm gonna try to fade the first two games as much as possible, so I know who's gonna get the start for Sacramento, because obviously that's a great matchup going against DeAndre Ayton. But I'm still trying to make that decision.
I think I think for me, Whiteside's a lock. He's 3,400, and I don't care if he starts because even if he doesn't start, he gets 20 minutes. And Hassan Whiteside, when he's playing a limited role, you already know that he's going to produce. He played 22 minutes in his last game, put up almost 40. So when you look at, he basically needs like not even 15 minutes to hit value at his current price. And then his ceiling is just ridiculous for what he can do. So I'm pretty locked into Hassan Whiteside. Really, I don't care if Jones starts. I don't care. I just don't, it doesn't matter what Sacramento does. As long as Whiteside gets about 15 minutes with four games tonight, I feel like you kind of have to play him.
Yeah, would you consider playing Jones and Whiteside in the lineup? Both if both get like 20 minutes, I feel like both can easily hit value.
Um, I don't really like Jones that much, to be honest. He just doesn't produce nearly as well as someone like Whiteside. So, like, even in 20 minutes, I'm not sold that Damian Jones hits value. I think if you want to get like really weird, there's not anyone that's going to do it. So I don't necessarily think that it's the worst option in large field GPPs. I just think that there's so many good centers tonight that for me, it would be really hard to play Damian Jones.
Yeah, he also played for Phoenix earlier in the year, so a little revenge narrative.
Yeah, that's if that's what we're banking on, then
Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah, center is. I mean, I feel like it's always stacked because we have Boston. It's gonna not have Robert Williams either. So, what are we looking at? Luke Cornett starting most likely, or Thies or Tice? I mean,
Truth, yeah, truthfully, I don't know what they're going to do. I think the best option of the group for me has to be Tristan Thompson. I think he
oh yeah,
probably
Tice
plays
got
minutes in the
traded.
high.
I'm being dumb.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be Tristan Thompson, and if he's getting minutes in the high 20s, I don't necessarily know what else they're really going to do at center. I could see them playing like Grant Williams sometime. But I think that Cornette and Mo Wagner will probably just split backup minutes. So if each one of them plays like 10 minutes, I don't really want either of them, and that would give Tristan Thompson about 28, which is right around where I would expect him to play. So for me, if I'm looking at center for Boston, it feels like Tristan Thompson or no one. I don't know if, like, are you more on someone like Luke Cornett, who, if they get 15 minutes, should smash value, but it's not really guaranteed.
Yeah, the only reason I would consider them, I wouldn't play them in the center or utility spot, but I believe he's power forward eligible. Yeah, he's power forward eligible. So I would take a chance, only just put him in the power forward spot. But Tristan Thompson's only 4-1. So you got to decide between Thompson, Looney, and Whiteside tonight. I feel like all those guys are good plays. You can only play two of them, so I'll have to see.
I'll add DeAndre Ayton there.
Ayton as well, yeah. I'll probably gonna end up getting my how. Yeah, Ayton is cheap.
Yeah, under 7K against Sacramento. So
Yeah, it's a 4-game slate, but you're gonna have to decide between those four amazing center plays. So it's gonna be tough. So those are probably it's probably my biggest decision coming in towards lock tonight. I might end up just paying down for two of those three guys just so I can pay up in other spots. Just because you have some other nice pay up spots. Like at point guard, you have Curry going against Cleveland. I don't expect anyone to be able to guard him at all. So I'll probably end up paying up for Giannis and Curry and trying to get some value at those bigs.
I don't have any issues with it. It feels like Giannis is kind of a priority play because there's so much value that it's not going to be difficult to get him into your lineup. But I don't necessarily know if I think that you have to pay up for two guys like Giannis and Curry. I think there's a lot of really good mid-range, and a guy that I really like is Jaylen Brown. He's 81, and I don't think that you're going to be able to play all three of them if you're attacking the mid-range a little bit. I do think if you go complete stars and scrubs, you probably can, so I'm not opposed to it. But I feel like at this point, I'm kind of overlooking Curry a little bit in favor of a Giannis Brown combo and then attacking the mid range while also going, obviously, guys like Hassan Whiteside. But is that something? Are you attacking the mid range, or do you think that you're just going to go stars and scrubs because there is so much value?
I'm probably gonna end up going stars and scrubs. It's a tough choice. There are some good mid range guys, so. I usually end up going stars and scrubs, but I'm definitely going to end up going scrubs for that center and utility spot. I'm going to try to keep as much open as possible in those late games. So it's the problem with Boston is everyone's healthy except for Fournier, of course. So I always have a tough time playing those guys when everyone's healthy just because I don't know. I just have a bias towards these Boston guys. They always seem to screw me over, and I feel like I'm picking out of a hat, drawing between all four of these guys. Because Brown at 8-1 seems it's a little expensive, but I do get to play. I just don't feel like he has a safe floor to get over 40 points, which is kind of what you want tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he's overly safe. I do think that he has the ceiling that I'm looking for specifically in tournaments. For what it's worth, I'm not opposed to him in cash, just because it's a 4-game slate. So, like, how many safe plays are you really going to have? Probably not too many. I also think in the mid-range, guys like Dennis Schroeder, I really like him. DeAndre Ayton, we kind of touched on a little bit. I'm fine with, like, Kemba. I think Kevin Love is kind of interesting against Golden State. I just really like the matchup I wish he was playing full minutes. Obviously, his price tag would be a little bit more expensive, but even in the limited minutes, he's been producing really well, and this is a really good matchup for him. So those are a bunch of mid-range guys. Is there anyone else that you're kind of looking? I guess you could add like Mikal Bridges. I really like him. I think Kent Bazemore is a good play. If I'm choosing between the two because they're only 100% or $100 difference, it's going to be Bridges. But that's a lot of options. Who are you looking in the mid range?
Yeah, I do like Kevin Love. He's been on a minutes limit. We haven't heard the restriction come off yet, but I mean, it's not really a limit. They say he's a limited, but like he played 27, he played 31, so I don't really know what the limit actually is for some of these guys. They say there's like a limit, but as long as they don't tell you what the limit is, I feel like there's not technically a limit. Because like Beal the other night was limited, but said he was limited, but then he played 36 minutes, so. Who knows with these guys? But for the mid range, I'm probably I do love Schroeder tonight, like you said. He's still really underpriced for with all these injuries out. I know the projections portal as one of them as one of the best value plays on the slate. So yeah, he's definitely going to be someone I will be looking at. Probably prioritizing in the mid tier. I don't really. I think Kemba Walker is very good defensively, so it's definitely a good play for me there. Montrezl Harrell is always an interesting play for me. It's always tough. He's more leverage play. It looks like Gasol really doesn't play when Drummond's in too, so he's going to end up getting the backup minutes, Montrezl Harrell. And it looks like Drummond's not getting too many minutes for me to care, so I'll probably end up, but the only issue is center's just so stacked. But I do love him, but I'm probably just not going to end up playing him. Another guy I don't mind in the mid tier is what's his name? Peck Connington. With DiVincenzo out, he's not really mid tier. He's 4-4, but he's coming off the bench. It should be a great leverage play. Atlanta doesn't really play much defense. He should see 20 to 25 minutes tonight. And I assume everyone's just going to play Bryn Forbes just because he's getting the start. But I assume Connington's going to get some good minutes off the bench.
I don't really have a problem with that. I think Forbes is not a bad play. I hate playing him, honestly. But I do think that he's a fine play at 3,600 and starting. I do think there's a lot of value. We kind of talked about Tristan Thompson at 4-1. Some other cheap guys, obviously, outside of Hassan Whiteside. I feel like you're really going to Phoenix. Cameron Payne has been playing really, really well recently. He's going to get about 20 minutes tonight, I would assume. And the matchup is just fantastic. So I think Cameron Payne's really, really interesting where I don't necessarily think a ton of people are going to play him because, you know, it is Cameron Payne's. And then I also think that Dario Saric is a decent tournament play at 3,300. And then Juan Toscano Anderson at 35 is a relatively solid play as well. He burned a lot of people. What was that, last night?
Yeah, was it? I think it was 2 nights ago. Yeah, he had a rough game. But yeah, he should definitely still get the minutes. So I don't mind the play. And it's Cleveland. They kind of struggle against bigs as well. Another guy for Phoenix that I do like is Jay Crowder. He continues to shoot a ton of threes, and we know Sacramento plays extremely high pace and no defense. So if he's hitting his shot, he should see 6+ 3-pointers. So if he's able to get 3 or 4 of those to go in, he's definitely another good play, especially with the 3-point bonus. So there's some more value for Phoenix since all those guys are kind of in pace up spots. But do you also like Mo Harkless?
What was that?
Do you also like Mo Harkless? He's getting decent minutes. He got 30 back-to-back and then got 20 last night against Washington. He's only 4,000. I assume no one ends up playing him, but I feel like he's a good leverage play tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm relatively fine with him because it's 4 games, but there's other guys that I definitely like more.
Yeah, kind of grasping at straws just because it's a 4-game slate. There's not a ton. Like, you don't have those millions of plays you can go. So if you can get a sub 5% play, it's definitely good to get leverage.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cam Johnson is really interesting as well. He'll get a solid 20, 25 minutes for Phoenix. And obviously, we talked about the matchup a bunch. Anyone that's watching, if you have any other questions, please shoot them in now. We basically just ran over each price tier of the slate.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish up my lineup now.
Joey's working on his lineup 13 minutes before lock happens.
Wiseman's out the rest of the season. Oof.
Yeah, that was rough for him, but he'll be back. I really like him. I thought that he flashed as a rookie, especially when they gave him the opportunity, more opportunities. I just have a really difficult time getting off of Hassan Whiteside on the slate, and I feel like it's really going to screw me. So with no restrictions for Alphabet. Yeah, Giannis should be fine tonight. I think if they blow out Atlanta or something, they're probably gonna give him a shorter leash than he would normally have. But I would be shocked if he doesn't play 30 plus. So I think that Giannis is a really good play. I don't know. I'm assuming you haven't seen anything different, right?
Yeah, I mean Giannis. They wouldn't play him against Atlanta unless he's fully healthy.
That's what I would expect too.
Yeah. He practiced the other day in full. I think yesterday I got the notification he practiced in full, so he should be good to go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was a sore knee that he missed, which obviously he did miss quite a bit of time, but I feel like they wouldn't risk a knee injury unless he was basically 100%.
Yeah, I mean, if it's late in the season and they're vying for the 1 seed, but I mean it's the Hawks. They can win without him. I guess, yeah, like you said, they might have a short leash if it gets to a blowout. They might keep the other guys in just to sustain that blowout. But that's the only reason I could think of he gets less minutes. But if it's a close game, I haven't seen the spread on this game at all. So if it's a close game, he'll get full minutes.
The spread is, give me 1 second, 4.5.
4.5. Wow, that seems.
It's really good.
I might have to bet on Milwaukee tonight.
Give me a bold call before we get out of here. We'll just be on for a couple more minutes to get your questions in. Give me a bold call for tonight.
Bold call. Let's see here. I'm gonna go with Steph Curry drops 45 points tonight. Real points.
Real?
Yeah.
Has he done that?
His line's at 34.5 is props at. I mean he's gotten 40, at least 40 in the last couple games, so it might not be that bold of a call, but
yeah, he scored 53. But okay, I go. Cameron Payne scores 30 plus 50 points.
Cameron Payne, wow, that is a bold call. How many minutes has he been getting recently?
He's coming off like 20, between 20 and 25.
I could see that, definitely against
He scored 33. Someone asked how's Middleton. I don't have any issues with him tonight. I think he's a fine play. 83 is a little expensive, but the game total's 235, so no issues whatsoever with Middleton. It's just personally, he didn't really fit in my lineup. Do you like Chris Middleton?
I mean the matchup's great, but I feel like you can't play with him and Giannis together, so I'd play him without Giannis unless you're running it back with some Atlanta guys. So I feel like if both those guys go off, it'll end up being a blowout, and they won't get their full minutes. But I do like him. He's just priced up with the recency of Giannis missing. But he's a fine play, yeah. I assume he's low-owned. So on a small slate, it's good to get anybody low-owned. He obviously has a ceiling just because of the matchup, but not someone I'm playing.
So it's a Jaylen Brown or Middleton. Jaylen Brown for me.
I also like Jaylen Brown more. Let's see. Trying Trying to figure out my guard and forward spots. I got 6-3 combined between. I'm gonna go with Cameron Payne in my guard spot. I'm gonna roll with your bold call.
That's what's up. James said that you look very cute with the hat on.
Oh, thanks, James.
Corey said Kevin Huerter or Mikal Bridges. It's Bridges for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'd probably end up going Bridges. Yeah, with Trae Young back, he kind of has a limited ceiling, but he's cheap enough. I kind of like the game environment in that environment, but obviously Sacramento's a huge pace-up spot. So I'd probably end up leaning Bridges as a safer play, but Huerter has a good ceiling tonight.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bridges in this game, so I believe that's all we got. Joey is going to get off of here and post his scores because a lot's about to happen. Thanks for joining us for this stuff, and good luck tonight, everyone. Joey will be back next Thursday, and Ben and I should have a pod tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you next week.